Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to dive into this really powerful idea that the world you experience out there is actually a direct reflection of what you believe in here. We're going to explore how a simple thought can literally show up in reality and how you can actually start directing this connection in your own life.
We're all told seeing is believing. But what if that's completely backwards? Our source material suggests that true creation, real change, it all starts with believing first. Your imagination isn't just some fun place to escape to. It's the actual workshop where your reality is being built. You have to see it, feel it, and believe it in your mind before it can ever show up in the physical world.
Now, I know this is a pretty big idea, right? And it might sound a little abstract. So let's bring it down to earth with a real story from our source. One of those moments that's so specific, so strange, it really makes you wonder if there's a much deeper connection at play. All right, so let's get into it. This story that really brings the idea to life starts with something incredibly simple, an unspoken thought. That's it. No words, no hints, just the idea of a coconut silently popping into one person's mind. And just check out how this whole thing played out. One guy just thinks coconut. Miles away, his friend, out of the blue, gets this sudden craving for coconut water. He's not even sure where he's going, but he feels this pull, this intuition to drive to a specific restaurant and what's their special drink? A freshly carved out coconut. I mean, it's a direct physical match to a silent internal thought. It's just wild. You could just write these things off as a coincidence, like the coconut, or another example from the source where someone is just thinking about Macedonia and their friend suddenly brings it up. But what if they're not random? What if they're little glitches in the matrix, showing us there's this unseen network that connects all of us? Okay, so if it's not just a coincidence, then what is it? What's actually going on here? This is where things get really interesting, because the explanation moves from a mystical idea into something that actually lines up with scientific theory. So let's get into the how. Think about it like this. Wi-Fi, right? You can't see the signal, not at all, but you have total faith that it's there, connecting your phone to the internet. Well, the source material suggests it's kind of the same deal with our minds, that there's this unseen, non-physical energy that's transmitting thoughts and ideas between us. And look, this isn't some brand new idea. We're talking about visionaries like Nicola Tesla, who believed that humanity's next massive leap forward wouldn't come from the physical world, but from finally studying this non-physical realm, the place where ideas come from before they become things. And this brings us to a really fascinating concept from quantum physics, the observer effect. In a nutshell, what it means is that the simple act of observing a particle actually changes its state. Our source uses this as this incredible metaphor. Your focused belief, your attention, acts as that observer. It takes a wave of pure possibility and bam, collapses it into a single, tangible reality. Okay, so if our inner world really does create our outer world, that's a huge deal. The big question then is, how do we actually master that internal landscape? Let's break down some of the practical steps. So here's a mind-blowing biological fact that the source points out. You are not the same person you were 7 years ago. I mean, literally, every single cell in your body has been replaced. So think about what that means. You're in a constant state of renewal. And if your actual cells can change completely, well, so can the beliefs that are shaping your life. All right, but let's be real. You're human. You're going to have negative thoughts. It's just part of the deal. The secret, according to the source, isn't to pretend they don't exist. It's to just not stay there. Don't let a bad thought move in and start redecorating, Treat it like feedback, not your new permanent address. So here's a really practical 4-step way to handle those feelings. It's about turning a painful emotion into a valuable messenger. First, you just feel it. No judgment. Then, and this is key, you don't identify with it. You might feel shame, but you are not shame. Third, you figure out its message. What is it trying to tell you? And finally, once you've gotten the lesson, you just release it. Let it go. This analogy just nails it. You can't change a 50-pound weight. It's going to be a 50-pound weight. It is what it is. But what you can change is yourself. You can train, you can build your strength so that lifting that weight becomes easy. You see? You can't always change the external stuff, but you can always change your internal strength to handle it. Okay, so once you start getting your inner world in order, what's next?
It's about learning how to act in the outer world. And this is a really delicate dance. It's all about mastering patience and then, at just the right moment, taking decisive action. The first part of this whole thing is patience, or maybe a better word is trust. It's just like planting a seed, right? Once you put it in the ground, you have to trust the process. You can't go digging it up every single day to check on it because you'll just disturb its growth. You have to have faith that things are happening under the surface, even when you can't see a thing. And then here's the other side of that coin, action. This train analogy is perfect. Patience is you standing on the platform watching the train go by with all the doors closed. You're not forcing your way on, but then a door opens. That's your moment. That's the opportunity. And you have to have the courage to just jump on. That is decisive action.
So you see, this whole idea of surrendering to the flow isn't about giving up. Not at all. It's about building your strength while you wait so that when you see that opportunity, you're ready to act on it. They're two parts of the exact same process. All right, let's get to the final piece of this puzzle. This is the most powerful level of mastery that the source talks about. It's about living as if your success isn't just some far-off possibility. It's already a done deal. This is called the law of assumption, and it really is the ultimate mindset shift. You stop hoping for something in the future, and you start feeling the reality of it right now, in this moment. You're not asking for it anymore. You are simply being the person who already has it. The principle here is really simple. Like attracts like. By assuming your desire is already a fact, you literally start vibrating at that frequency. You're creating an energy field of that reality around you. And the source suggests that the universe then has no choice but to start rearranging things to match that assumption, bringing the physical version right to you.
And this is so important. Assumption is not just passive daydreaming. In this story from the source, the universe delivered the exact opportunity he was assuming. The door on the train opened right in front of him, but fear kicked in and he didn't jump on. It's such a powerful reminder that you still have to act when the moment arrives.
So in the end, this isn't just about dreaming a better future. It's about being the person who lives that future, starting today. So the final question for you is this. If your future is already a reality, what's one action you can take right now to start walking into it? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.